The Highlands Botanical Garden is full of rich diversity, whether you are coming in springtime or summer, or even as we look towards the fall, there's a lot of rich native plant diversity. But to start out, earlier in the year we were greeted by the skunk cabbage, which, as the common name would suggest, has a very unpleasant odor, and the foliage, which you can see emerging here a little bit farther out into mid-March, is reminiscent of that of cabbage. Just a little bit later after the skunk cabbage are aconibels. So aconibels are an endemic species to just a few counties in North Carolina and the adjacent South Carolina, and this is just a very special plant. It's an evergreen species, but the flowers emerge in late March and they are just so beautiful and very, very special. One of my favorites that also shows off around this time is the FRASER'S sedge. It typically likes more acidic soils and forest types, which is what we have, and it's an evergreen species, but the white spikes are what emerge around, again, mid to late March. Moving on into the month of April. April is a wonderful time at the Highlands Botanical Garden for our trilliums. We have a large diversity of trillium species. This is our white trillium here. It's in the trillium family, and this is a white variety, but we also have the red variety as well, which you can also see in this clip, and both are flowering in early to mid-April. Alongside that, we also have our fiddleheads, which are emerging. You can see here these are the cinnamon fern fiddleheads. Another particular plant that emerges around the same time that I personally enjoy is the toothwort. That's cardamom diphylla, and so the diphylla is actually in reference to the two leaves, and then that cardamom, the root of that word is Greek for tooth, which is kind of where you get the common name from. And again, this one is flowering around mid-April and is a really wonderful species that I personally enjoy, and the bees, as you can see, enjoy it as well. Moving on into the month of May, we have our Solomon seal, and alongside it we also have, which flowers similarly around the same time and is in the same family, is the false Solomon seal. So as you can see, the leaves can be quite similar, but the flowers themselves are obviously in different places. You have this spike or plume above the leaves versus in the regular Solomon seal, it is hanging below the leaves. Carrying on into the month of June, we have the mountain laurel, Kalmia latifolia. It's a evergreen shrub that has these beautiful pinkish to white flowers that flower in mid to early June, and is a very special species that we all enjoy here in this part of the US. And alongside it, we also have the water lilies that start to emerge around this time, and they fill up our pond area, and they're a beautiful sight to see. Our pond not only provides wonderful habitat for our native plant species, but the plant species offer a wonderful habitat for our insects and other aquatic life and birds as well. So these are mallard ducks, which hatched earlier in the year, and it's been such a pleasure to, throughout the summer, watch them grow up, and as you can see, they're diving down below here to feed on some of the aquatic insects that we have living in the pond. Moving on into the summer months, it's a very busy season for us and for native plants. We have lots of various species that are very active for our pollinators, either native or non-native, still out there being busy in the garden. One of my favorite pollinator species is Monarda. This is a wonderful, wonderful, attractive species also for our native hummingbirds because those red tubular flowers are just so attractive to them. And another really special species here, and another evergreen species similar to our Kalmia, the mountain laurel, is our great laurel, the rhododendron. And this is a beautiful, beautiful species. Again, it's an evergreen shrub. It can get quite big and populates a lot of the forest here in Highlands, North Carolina. But when they flower, it's just such a wonderful show and such a wonderful way to round off the summer. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed learning about some of the native plants we have here at the Highlands Botanical Garden.